The center console screen in the Tesla Model 3, is it as ergonomic as it could be? Well, I'm Frugal Tesla Guy, and I'm going to show you a product that's going to change the way you look at the center console screen. So when you look at the Model S and the X, the center console screen is obviously different, right? Not only is it bigger, but it is not in a landscape orientation like that of the Model 3, but it's more of the portrait landscape. Number two, the Model S and the X, they are more incorporated within the dash, and it is angled more toward the driver to make it more ergonomic. So it's easier for the driver to see and access the screen. So it begs the question, with the Tesla Model 3, why did they have the screen pointed straight back so that both the passenger and the driver have the same perspective of the screen, making the screen, quite honestly, less ergonomic? Well, no one really knows exactly why, but it seems with the overall design that it would be something that would have been easy for them to design something to where you can tilt it more in your direction. But once again, they decided not to do that. So someone by the name of Matt from Tech Forum, he also has a YouTube called Tech Forum, and of course this webpage, Tech Forum Products, where he developed a kit that you install and mount onto the Tesla Model 3 and the monitor itself, and it allows you to adjust the screen at the angle you want. You can still have it pointed straight back if you want. It's just tilted up a little bit more, but you can also change the angle at just how hard that angle is pointed toward you, the driver. So what Matt did after he developed this, shortly afterwards, he contacted me and asked if I would do a review on the mounting kit itself. And I was glad to help him out. Thank you, Matt, for involving me in this process. And what I've done with the video is this. I've put it in two separate parts. So the first video I did was the installation process. And that was a pretty long video, actually. Not that it took me a long time, but I wanted you to see the beginning process, the full process from beginning to end. And again, that was about a 30-minute long video. So I decided to separate them into two separate videos. And this video is going to be more on the review of this product. And you know, there are going to be some questions about this screen mounting kit. And hopefully with this review, I can answer some of those questions. So let's get right into it. So overall, I'm noticing that a couple of things. Number one, that it is faced a little bit more toward me. And this is more on the conservative side. I could have it facing at a much higher angle toward me so this is actually the closest to having it to where it looks the most original. But where it's different than that of the original is that it is tilted up a little bit more this way. So it's tilted more toward you, tilted more up. And certainly like that, I think it does look a lot better. As I mentioned earlier, from the passenger side, it doesn't seem to be that bad. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going on a little drive with my wife a little bit later today and see what she thinks. But all in all here, I'm happy with it. The glare is not a big issue. You know, the glare is going to be an issue anyway you look at it. The sun coming through, you're going to have that. One of the things, again, I was concerned about and talking about is that it does lower the monitor a little bit here. Not a lot. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's nothing where you're like have to really take your eyes off the road to do it. But my knee, there's still plenty of room there. I'm not concerned about bumping it. I don't feel cramped. You can see the kind of little less of the center console, but does that really matter? Why do you need to see the center console? I suppose if you have your phone in there, you may kind of not see as much of the top of the phone, but I don't do that anyway, so that's not an issue. Other than that, again, I'm impressed. This is something I didn't imagine myself needing or wanting for that matter, but now that it's installed and now that it's here, I really like it. So what I think what I'm going to do is readjust it to where it's really aimed more just at me and see how that is. All right, so now I've got the setting to where this thing is tilted as far as it will go toward me. And let me tell you something. I mean, the angle is fantastic. It's angled up a little bit higher. It's angled more toward me. And I just feel like it's just all within better reach. I mean, even the far right, I don't have to reach as far, and it's definitely a lot easier just to get to everything with on the screen. So off the bat, I'm noticing a big difference, and as a driver, I really do enjoy having this at this angle here. So this is kind of a bit of a, I'm going to go in a complete circle, so I'll have all the different angles of the sun so I can get a particular look at how any type of glare is. So sun is right here. Now it is situated right over here. Obviously not going to be an issue. It's behind the monitor, so I'm not going to get any kind of glare. I'm going to be looking at a right turn up here pretty soon. So now the sun is over to my left side, and it's beginning to get behind me. In fact, at this point, the sun is behind me. So what I'm noticing, I'm on a street that doesn't have a lot of traffic. What I'm noticing, and you may not see it here, but there is definitely a sunspot that's coming in from behind me here that's pretty bright if you look at it. So there is going to be, in some spots in particular, probably closer to the bottom, depending on the angle. Depending on the angle of where the sun is, there's probably going to be, again, it's something I hadn't noticed before, but there's definitely that bright ball of the sun right about here from where I'm sitting at this point. So now that the sun is behind me, that glare is still there. The sun is now still kind of behind me. Now the glare has just moved over here, and now it's gone. So just be aware that there may be some particular angles. In particular, what I'm noticing is that when the sun is behind me, it is going to glare on that screen right here. I would not call it a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. So I've done a complete circle around the sun, or should I say, yeah, yes I have. I didn't go around the sun physically, but you get the idea. We've done a complete circle so we get all angles. All right, so one of the things that I was concerned about too is that what it looks like from the outside. It's not something that you normally think about, and quite honestly, up until this point, I never thought about it, I never looked at it, I was never conscious about it. But now that I've done this, you think about it. So the OEM is, I think, looks better if I were to kind of grade the two. That being said, I don't think this black shroud sticks out like a sore thumb, because the OEM look, it's more that same gray color of the actual monitor itself. So it just looks like it's integrated within the car. But since it's a black shroud, you can't really see it. So it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. You don't really notice it. So again, it's one of those things where unless you're thinking about it, you're just not going to notice it. And even if you do notice it, you can't see it. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, and it doesn't look bad. All right, so the other thing that I was concerned about is how does it look for the passenger when they get in? Now, with this angled all the way to the driver, I was wondering, well, is it that it will be noticeable? Does it look bad? From the driver's perspective, you're getting in. Let's say you're looking from right about here. Sure, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, and you can see that black shroud there, not that gray color, although again doesn't stand out, doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, and it actually blends in quite well because everything else around it is also black, so not an issue. I'm going to put this back in the wide angle. I'm going to get inside the car. We'll see how it looks. So I'm here, and again, a lot of fingerprints, but you get the idea. From here, as I'm sitting as a passenger, I'm not even seeing the shroud. I don't see it at all. All right. And then as I kind of lean forward, I can just begin to see that shroud a little bit. Not a big deal. Okay. And of course, as I lean more and more, then you can start to see the shroud. You notice anything?
The back door is open.
No. You notice anything else about the car?
No.
No?
No.
What about the monitor? The screen? Notice anything? Ah. Does it, it's angled more toward me, would you agree?
Yes.
But you didn't really notice.
Very subtle.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear.
Okay.
Good. Now that you see it, would you like it back to the way it is?
I kind of like it, yeah, where I can see it more.
Yeah, but as a driver, what do you think? You can't. Nope, you can't. Nope, sorry. But as a driver, I think you'll agree that it's definitely a lot better. We'll have you drive the car on the way home. We'll see what you think.
All right. I'll give you my opinion.
All right, so what do you think? What do you think of the monitor?
I love it. I like it when it's facing me. I don't like it as much when I'm a passenger, but it definitely it's a little more convenient.
Yes, is it easier to get to the controls?
It is, yeah. It's all streamlined. Pretty nice.
All right, but you don't like it as a passenger.
Yeah, it's a little harder to...
I don't know. I don't know if it's harder. I don't know if I agree with you on the harder part, but I just think, yeah, I mean, it's not as inviting, but it's there and you can reach it. So it's really all about the driver. That's what we have to remember.
It's all about me.
Yes. I want to tell you a brief story about this in general. And when I first saw Matt on his channel describing what he wanted to do and then eventually putting it into production and putting it into his car, I remember thinking to myself, not for me, not interested. I'm just going to move on. And then it wasn't until, I don't know, since I'm recording this video, a few weeks ago, he contacted me to see if I'd be interested in installing this and doing a review on it. So, of course, full disclosure, I would like to mention that Matt sent one of these to me free of charge. All right, so just kind of keep that in mind. I want to give you the full disclosure on that. So, again, moving forward, as I kind of wrap this video up, keep in mind that I had no interest in this whatsoever. So once again, as Matt contacted me, I thought, you know what, why not? Let's give it a try. And it's an opportunity for me to help out a fellow YouTuber in the process as well. And I thought to myself too, after I watched him install it, I thought I can do this. And it's something that can be reversed. If I want to go ahead and put it back to factory, it's something that's easy enough to do. So that wasn't a concern for me either. And I thought if I don't like it, I can just put it back. That being said, I love it. You know, I don't just like it, I love it. I think that this is something that was well thought out of. In fact, I would say that this is probably where Tesla may have fallen short a little bit in their overall design. So now let's talk about my thoughts of this. Now you saw earlier in the video, once I first saw it, I was sold. I thought, wow, this is a big improvement. And I have this tilted as far as it can toward me. And here's what I think about it. I think it's fantastic because what it does as a driver, you want everything just kind of within your own little bubble and it's easy to get to everything. The steering wheel, the stalks, these buttons on the steering wheel, and not to mention the center console. We know as Model 3 drivers that most everything we need is on this screen. So you want it to be easy to get to. Now, as easy as it is, right, as the original design, but with this thing tilted, it really ties it and brings it all in, and it just it's tighter. So getting to the center screen, it's a lot easier. You don't have to reach as far. Not only on the left side is it closer, but the right side of the screen is much closer as well. So you don't have to reach as far to get to it. So let's talk about the designer, Matt. I think, you know, Matt, as if you don't follow him, I suggest you check out his channel. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But Matt has owned his car, his Tesla Model 3, for over a year. He loves his car. He's in tune with the car. And when he decided to do this, this is something that he really thought it out. It was clear that he thought it out. Not only for himself, but I think as a product to market as well. I'm sure there are some people who are concerned about the overall look of the shroud. I will have to admit, when I first saw the shroud, I thought, I don't know, right? And that's what I saw on YouTube. But once I put it on and see it in person, in real life, I think it looks fine. And as someone who is a Tesla Model 3 owner, Matt, of course I'm talking about, I think he really thought things through. He's more intimate with the car. So that's who you're going to want to design something like this for you, is a Model 3 owner. So I think, Matt, thumbs up, man. I think you did a fantastic job with this. I have been converted from an original Tesla Model 3 center console screen position to your bracket attachment here, and being able to angle it up a little bit higher and toward me a little bit more. It really does improve the overall ergonomics. So I have been converted and I absolutely love it. Well, there you have it. That is my review of this bracket install here. Not that hard to do. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to help support my channel, you can, of course, click the subscribe button, that is, if you haven't done so already. So once again, thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, stay positively charged.